All right, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Echak. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops, a great millstone with a lesson, Lord's will. This is edifying to the Lord's elect. This is from the New York Post. It says, grab your gun, Minnesota protester calls for violence against ICE. And this is a Jake, so let's see what Jake got to say in Minnesota.
What you talking about? They out here harassing us, grabbing us, snatching up, out here doing dumb shit. Fight back, grab your gun and kill these bro. It's your right as an American. They say Renee died in self-defense. In Minnesota, there is no self-defense law. There is no self-defense law. Fight back.
Can I put that out? How much is the press? For press. For press.
They didn't do It's okay, bro. You finna come out in a few hours. Yep. Dumbass shit.
I guess that's it. But Jake said, grab your gun. Jake's out of his damn mind, man. Like, what are you even doing over there? You know, that's why these are people who, if you ask this person about the Lord, he won't even know. Like, you'll talk to somebody like that, and you'll go. The conversation will go nowhere. You know, you can just tell he ain't gonna get it.
Grab your
Look how he talks.
bro. It's your right as an American.
Oh my God. He probably drunk, out of his damn mind. That's our people, man. It's 2/3. Let me grab this in the book of Zechariah 13. In verse 8, and it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord Yahweh, 2 parts therein shall be cut off, but the third shall be left therein. So 2/3 is 66.6% of the nation of Israel, of the people here in Babylon, they're going to get cut off and die. Why? Because they're in the mindset of the world. They don't know the instructions that the Lord gave us to follow in, and they're not seeking the Lord. But he said the third shall be left therein, and the third is talking about the remnant or the elect, as the Bible describes them as. And those are the people that the Lord is going to have mercy on. Okay? That's only who the Lord's dealing with, is his elect. Zechariah 13:9, and I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, the Lord Yahweh is my God. So being tried like silver is refined. Silver goes through the refining process that removes the impurities through heat. So that fire that we're going through is the afflictions that the Lord's going to be putting his elect through. But everyone's going to be faced with that same affliction, but they're not all going to make it through the fire. A lot of them are going to get burnt up. Okay, these protests are a form of going through that afflictions. And if you got a mindset like
They
this,
said Renee died in self-defense. In Minnesota, there is no self-defense law.
You know, he know the law of the land, but he don't know the law of God. He worried about Renee and just, he probably worried about every single mainstream media topic. You know, and this is what they want. They want Jake to react like that. So now you're not innocent anymore. Okay, you got to remain innocent during this thing. The murderer, he's the one who, he's the accuser. He's trying to point the finger at you. All you got to do is wait, like the Lord told us to do. But Jake, he thinks, you know, we waited long enough. You know, you talking about something that ain't, you know, you believe in a, you know what Jake be saying, man. What's that? Ezekiel 12. In verse 27, Son of man, behold, they of the house of Israel say the vision that he seeth is for many days to come, and he prophesieth of the times that are far off. So, you know, you talk about the MOTB, they think that's not going to happen in their lifetime, even though it's right in front of your face. You know, brothers are doing videos on how Elon Musk wants to start doing human trials. They don't see how fast this is coming. And by the time it comes, they didn't even prepare themselves for that time. Ezekiel 12 and verse 28, therefore say unto them, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, there shall none of my words be prolonged any more, but the word which I have spoken shall be done, saith the Lord Yahweh. So that word is coming, you know, and you're seeing it now. You're already seeing the collapse of your society. And it all starts with your dollar. The reason why the duck wants to go into these other nations is because they're not using his dollar anymore. So now he's making war with them. You know, I was just watching a video how they were saying the Venezuelans, when they were selling the oil, Maduro was selling oil to the Chinese in their currency, selling the oil in Russia in their currency, bypassing the US dollar. Okay, and that's what everything's about. You know, so instead of them just cutting them off by using everyone else's money, he gonna go to war with them. All right, he gonna try to make a deal, make you try to come back and worship the beast, but a lot of them are saying fuck you. Iran just had an event. They're having all types of protests right now, and they're saying we ready to go to war. Okay, so you know that's the times that we're entering into, and you don't think having this device where it can track you and pretty much, you know, physically it's there to track you, but spiritually it's separating you from the Lord. So he knows he truly got you at that time. Like the Lord ain't dealing with you. Okay? But this is why this word ain't for everybody. This word's for the elect, the remnant. Because 2/3, they're not going to get it. People like him, they out in the middle of the battle, you know, without any wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. That's where your knowledge is going to bring you, into the front of someone firing at you. That's how we know that wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of the times. We don't want to have a mindset like Jake, man. He's still drinking and partying in the night. He's bugged out.
There is no self-defense law. Fight back.
And that's his advice, to fight back. Idiots. Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 8. Therefore wait ye upon me, saith the Lord Yahweh, until the day that I rise up to the prey. So you got to wait. And that sounds like very hard instructions, you know. You wait, and it seems like a long time, and then, you know, you start to get complacent. You start to feel like, damn, you know, I can only assume if you've been in this truth for a long time, you start, you're, you know, if you ain't on fire, you kind of just mellow back out, and you kind of just barely get by. You don't want to be in that spirit, man. Scriptures talk about being abounding. Scriptures talk about being on fire for the Lord. He's saying, the Lord says in book of Luke, shall he find faith anymore in the earth? So there's a test. You know you're going to be tested. So when you feeling weak in the spirit, that's the best time to go serve the Lord, to go do a video, to go find something, go glorify Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. Okay, because these people like him, he don't got any faith if he's out there. He don't have any knowledge. Okay, and waiting upon something you can't see, it shows he don't have any faith either. The Lord isn't really, it's a gift that the Lord has given his men, his elect, I should say, or his hopeful elect, or whatever you want to call it. But that faith, man, that's the most important thing. And you should be constantly seeking the Lord so he can give you that faith. You got to pray to the Lord for it. You got to want that faith. You got to want that crown. You got to want the kingdom, man. And when you look at scenarios like this, it should spark some type of spiritual response inside of you, showing you that the Lord is working. Okay, Zephaniah 3:8 again. Therefore, wait ye upon me, saith the Lord Yahweh, until the day that I rise up to the prey. And who's the prey? Esau. He gonna rise up against them. For my determination is to gather the nations. So he's gathering the nations, as you can see. You got these different nations. You got Ukraine and Russia. You got Taiwan and China. You got North Korea, South Korea. You got Israel and Palestine. You got Syria. You got Turkey about to get involved in Syria. Venezuela, Cuba, Colombia. Everybody's going to be involved eventually. It's going to be a third world war. Okay, Greenland, all of this shit. He's going to be assembling these kingdoms. You don't know the prophecies. You don't see them coming. And pretty much multiple prophecies are simultaneously happening. If you had spiritual eyes and ears, you would see, okay, I need to be prepared. I need to be on my feet. I need to be at the post. It says to pour upon them my indignation. Indignation is righteous anger. These nations deserve to be destroyed. And that's what he's going to do. And you got to wait for it. Even all my fierce anger for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. So he's going to destroy these nations by bringing them into the valley of Jehoshaphat, which is in Saudi Arabia. And you can't see these different nations making noise about war. That's what I see. But I'm watching. Okay, some of y'all don't watch, so you don't get the spiritual enliftment to keep focused on what actually matters. Too busy watching some stupid shit on TV, watching basketball, football, and shit like that. Don't get me wrong, you can watch all that shit, but that shit's fake anyways. All that shit's fake, man. Where did I want to go? The two foundations. I wanted to go somewhere. I forgot. There's a lot in Matthew 7. I forgot exactly what I wanted, but grab your gun, man. So you got to wait upon the Lord is pretty much the storyline here. Let's go into some cross-reference scriptures in this. Okay, wait ye upon me. Psalms 27:14. Wait on the Lord Yahweh, be of good courage, and he shall strengthen thine heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord Yahweh. So he'll strengthen you. Okay. And you would know that if you, because every day you're going through something. The Lord gets you through the day. But sometimes if you don't have that eye to be thankful for the things, then I don't know what it is. You see some people, man, and they just I don't know what the hell's people are going on in their lives, man. I feel like the more shit you go through, the better it is, man. It is better at the end. Whatever you're going through, it gets better, man. Even though you'll go through more shit, I go through more shit, and I'm okay with it now. Yeah, it ain't hitting like it used to. Okay. See, with the scriptures, it talks about the sweet and the bitter, man. The sweet part is after. Sweet part's in the kingdom, man. So you got to really dive deep into the bitter A lot of people don't want to get into the bitter, man, but the bitter is the best part. You'll start to learn that, okay, struggling is good. Okay, pain is all right. Okay, waiting and being patient, these are things that people don't want to do. Endurance. If you want to obtain any form of glory, you're going to have to get used to those things. Okay, discipline and things like that. But people don't want to practice these things when it comes to the truth. When it comes to the truth, none of those things apply. But when it comes to you going to get a degree from Esau, you will equate all of that energy to getting something that ain't even gonna help you, or to get a job. You'll equate, oh, I'll stop doing this. You'll even cut the truth off just to go get a job. But that same mindset, you don't give that to the Lord. And He's the one who gives you all the power to do, to get up and even just walk down the damn street. Psalms 37:7. Rest in the Lord and wait patiently for Him. Fret not thyself because of him who prospereth in his way, because of the man who bringeth wicked devices to pass. So let's talk about Esau. We ain't supposed to fret because he's prospering. He ain't gonna be prospering for much longer. Fret means to be constantly or visibly worried or anxious. Gradually wear away something by rubbing or gnawing, a state of anxiety or worry. Yeah, that's not the spirit you want to be in, man. In a wounded spirit. Wounded spirit, KJV. Wounded spirit. Let me grab that. I think it's Proverbs. I forgot where. 18. Yep. Proverbs 18, verse 14. It says, the spirit of a man will sustain his infirmity, but a wounded spirit who can bear? Let's look at this. A lot of people got your spirit's wounded because Esau says he'll wear out the saints, and he's still wearing the saints out. What's going on here? Slow load. Spirit of a man, meaning the mind, breath, inner man, the courage, the will. This is not talking about the body. It's talking about a man's inner strength, mentality, and mindset. The spirit is what Yahweh gives a man to endure, fight, and stand. It's giving me Proverbs 20:27. The spirit of man is the candle of the Lord. In Zechariah 12:1, the Lord forms the spirit of man within him. Right, and if you part of that elect, you know you got a spirit that can endure much things. Everybody's about to go through some shit. When there ain't nothing to eat, nothing to drink, then you're going to see why your labor was worth it, okay? But if you don't stay focused on that by seeing, you might see someone prospering. Ain't no one really happy here, man. The mirth of the land is gone. This place is through, man. I'm going to go spend $7,000 to go watch some stupid shit when you could watch it on TV. I mean, this place is done. Oh, I want to go to Isaiah 24. Isaiah 24 in verse 7. The new wine mourneth, the vine languisheth, the merry-hearted do sigh. Yeah, so the new wine is mourning. Okay, these new philosophies. Wine is, this new way of life. It's not the old way. That vine is languishing. All the merry-hearted do sigh. The mirth of tabrets ceaseth. The noise of them that rejoice endeth. The joy of the harp ceaseth. They shall not drink wine with a song. Strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it. So that's where we're at, man. People ain't going to the club like they used to, man. You should be excited to go to the club on the weekends, man. Go talk to some chick, and you don't even want to do that anymore. You don't know if you're talking to a man or a woman anymore. That's just boring. All right? You don't want to be around nobody like that. Especially if you're righteous, man. You don't want to be around these damn demons. Then you got ICE, and the land is done, man. The city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up that no man may come in. That's coming. That's going to be coming soon. It's going to be broken down. It's breaking down. There's a crying for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. So ain't really nothing out there, man. If you don't find any comfort or enjoy reading the word, enjoyment, and it's not making you merry-hearted and wanting to serve the Lord, I would be praying to the Lord a lot more. You know, you want to find your first love again. Because clearly the world, that burden, man, it's tough. And, hey, it is what it is. This world will wound your spirit, man. This is a test. Okay? It says, will sustain his infirmity. Hebrew kala, to endure, contain, support, sickness, weakness, affliction. Okay? Meaning a strong spirit can carry physical pain, poverty, persecution, captivity, and hardship. You know, a lot of us, Jakes, we went through all of these. We going through them all right now. But your spirit, if you're part of that number, you're going to endure all of this. You're going to get the victory. You know, so when these things come, you know, having the right mindset towards entering into some type of affliction is going to sustain you. And if you in this truth, your spirit's a lot stronger than everybody else's spirit, because they into different doctrines of the world. Like that man that was talking about go grab a gun, man. He's out of here. He's drunk as hell. He's at night in the middle of a damn ice. The whole nation is in uproars, and he's out there drunk as hell. Late night. What are you doing out there? He thinks it's a party. He's seeing firecrackers. It reminds him of the 4th of July. They think that shit's fun. And that's the mindset of Jake. They have more fun, and they're probably getting paid to do this shit too. Probably not Jake, but Esau is. Precepts, Job 2, 6-10. Job's body was destroyed, but he did not curse the Most High. That's right. What kind of spirit was in that man? You can curse the Most High by giving up on this truth. 2 Corinthians 4, verse 16, though our outward man perish, yet the inward man is renewed day by day. I haven't heard this precept in a long time. 2 Corinthians 4, verse 16. That outward man is perishing. You get older and older and older, yet the inward man is renewed day by day, because we got this ministry. You should be spiritually refreshing your spirit, man, feeding your spirit every single day, even when it might not seem like, oh, it ain't really nothing going on. Nah, there's something always going on. It tells you in Zephaniah 3 and 5, the Lord is doing something every single day. Every day he brings his judgment to light. I was thinking about something that happened in India. It was so cold in India. Let me grab that right now, as a matter of fact. Lord's working, man. Did India reach the lowest coldness day? I said that all silly. The lowest air temperature ever officially recorded on Earth was negative 128. Coldest day of Arctic blast. No. Did India reach the lowest coldness day or something like that? India experiences, let me see, there was some news about it. Unprecedented chill across India, sub-zero lows, and rare cold waves. Let me see what it says. Recent cold snap, January 2026. I think it's India's experiences extremely cold days, especially in the north, with recent events in January 2026 showing severe cold waves like Gurugram hitting 0.6 degrees Celsius in Delhi, 3 degrees Celsius, marking its coldest January morning in 3 years due to Himalayan winds and clear skies causing widespread frost and icy conditions. While these are severe for the plains, historically inland areas have seen much lower temperatures, with some recording below freezing, -4 degrees 6 in 1935, and overall India's absolute coldest recorded temperature is much lower in the Himalayas. Did anyone die? Yes, India experiences. I'm talking about in 2025. Lord's working. That's probably just some random shit. But your spirit ain't gonna sustain you if the Lord puts you in some negative degree weather. But that just goes to show you, man, people being afflicted all over the world, man. You know, there was a time when Texas had a cold day and mad people died. You know, just there's crazy shit going on in this world. A man can be broke, sick, hated, and oppressed and still survive if his spirit is strong. That's right. There's a scripture that says a living dog is better than a dead lion. Ecclesiastes 9 verse 4. Sucks. Let me just grab it out of. I don't even know if that's the right precept. I haven't grabbed that in a while either. Ecclesiastes 9, verse 4. For to him that is joined to all the living there is hope. For a living dog is better than a dead lion. That's right. For him that is joined to all the living there is hope. You're still alive, man. You know. And that right there is just, you got to thank the Lord for that. Even if you got pain, even if you sick, you still alive. We know we're getting closer to that time where there's going to be more miracles being performed. Even if I was sick, man, I would be thinking about some form of a miracle coming to happen. That's the spirit you want to be in, and that's going to sustain you. So hopefully you can endure for the Lord to put the spirit on the men to do what they need to do. You know, and if you got that wounded spirit, man, you can pretty much bypass your own blessing. Give up on your own blessing that the Lord got for you. Even though it's not going to happen like that. You know, the Lord's going to, if you're part of that number, man, anything can happen. Well, it says, for a living dog is better than a dead lion. I mean, that's plain, man. What the hell is a dead lion going to do? That living dog still got a fighting chance in the battle. But a wounded spirit who can bear? Nekah, smitten, struck, crushed, mind, inner man. Yeah, you can't be crushed in your spirit, man. How you gonna be crushed when the Lord gave you the victory and told you up front you got the victory, Israel got the victory, but these things gotta still come to pass. You already got you understand that the past, the future, the present. That's why you gotta kind of stay in the present. You know, you kind of not stay in the present, but you gotta look, you gotta watch. Just do what the Lord said, man, and He's gonna increase you. It might not just be in wisdom. He can increase you in all aspects of your walk. This means mental and spiritual damage, hopelessness, despair, shame, rejection, fear. You know, all of these things come from our flesh. You know, the flesh be putting these thoughts into our heads, man. Weird ass thoughts that it's all vanity, though. Told Peter, Satan has desired to sift thee, you know, through that inward agitation. Okay, he constantly wanting you to think of anything but the Lord. Oh, you're going to break down. Oh, you know, and that's the best time to put up prayer. You know, the Lord's going to put you through these things to see how you're going to operate. And you got to know what you can do. You can pray to the Lord. You can talk to brothers. If you got brothers with you, talk to your brothers you can talk to. You know, try to get in that conversation about the Lord, whatever it is. Okay, once the mind is broken, the body soon follows. So, Your mind is gone, man, and you're gonna need it. That's your soul, man. You gotta protect. You know, a lot of people, man, they're all over the place, man. You gotta stay away from people like that. You gotta protect yourself, man. What thoughts you have, you gotta. It's like your mind, your kingdom, man. Can't let no phony, fake nigga be around you. That shit fucks with you, man. You gotta get away from these fake, phony ass niggas and bitches and be real with the Lord, man. You know, ask the Lord to guide your steps. You know, you gotta protect. If the Lord gave you something, you gotta protect that, man. You know, he put you on a level. You gotta fight for that position. Okay. You can't let your mind break you, man. He gonna put you through the furnace of affliction. Like it said in Zechariah the 13th chapter, not a lot of people gonna get through this. As a matter of fact, Donald Duck just said today that he's talking about how great the economy is. He's fighting with Jerome Powell. He's fighting with the Fed chair about tax rates and shit like that. And Jerome Powell basically said, I did what I thought was according to my knowledge and not according to what he felt like I should do. Now I'm being investigated. So what does that show you? Pretty much just told you this nigga about to fuck your whole. You probably gonna. Everything's gonna cost way more. Inflation is what I'm trying to say, man. It's gonna be a lot of inflation, and we already know that. He ain't saying nothing new. But to see how it's gonna come to pass, that's the Lord's word being fulfilled. Some people in the world look at this with Jerome Powell like, oh, whatever. No, man, this is prophecy being fulfilled right before your eyes. You know, these precepts should be popping in your head. Oh, okay. Now I see, okay, so the Lord is creating some division even within the federal government. What, you gonna get rid of Jerome Powell? Pretty much, when you look at Jerome Powell's history, he did pretty good. He's been in that position a long time. And what is Duck gonna do? He gonna send some nasty, dumbass Edomite, someone dumb like him, and he gonna fuck that shit up. Meanwhile, your 401k, you know, Bitcoin and all that shit, that's just gonna look good. But then your bread gonna cost a day's pay. It's the book of Proverbs 15:13. By sorrow of the heart, the spirit is broken. That's right. Sorrow of the heart. That can come in a multitude of ways. You losing people. You know, it can get lonely in this thing, man. The Lord can have you solitary. But it tells you in what Timothy, you got to endure like a soldier. The Lord chose you to be like that. Proverbs 17, verse 22, a broken spirit drieth the bones. Woo. Yeah, broken spirit dry your bones, man. You're going to be like a dry bone out here. Just like that dude, no water, no wisdom, no knowledge, no understanding. You know, you lose that water, man, you're done. You lose this knowledge, you are through. There ain't no, you gonna die. Like a broken cistern can hold no water. Even though you had all this truth, you had a leak somewhere. And it just slowly, and you can see that a lot of people, man, the Lord is dimming people's lights out there, man. You won't even know it. You won't even know it, man. You're just dimming your light. People looking at you like, this dude's a fucking full-blown reprobate. This dude really don't know what he's talking about. And they won't even tell you either. Because you like being praised. You like, what do you call it? What do you call a word when you tell people what they want to hear and they like that? There's a lot of people like that, man. You got to be aware of you got to have discernment. If people are like that, all of that matters, man. If the Lord is showing you things, you gotta trust in that spirit, because that discernment is That's gonna be a huge part of this battle, man. That a lot of people, they don't have it, man. They spending all they don't have no discernment. They don't. You might know the scriptures. It's deeper than knowing the scriptures. How is the Lord truly dealing with you, man? Like real talk. You know, I just gave a testimony yesterday, man. I was feeling bad. I threw up a prayer. Man, the Lord healed me quick. I was like, I couldn't even believe it. I'm still like, wow. I don't remember ever. I couldn't even remember when I stopped feeling like I was sick. It must have been so quick. I think right after I finished praying, I was good. Like that's how quick it was. You know, and that should, you know, even though, you know, it might sound small to some people, man, I think that's profound. Isaiah 61:1, Hamashiach came to heal the brokenhearted. Okay? And of course with this word, but there's going to be a physical healing too. You know, Daniel 10, he was weak. And then the angel just strengthened him. You know, he was weak. So the Lord don't even need to send you food. All you need, an angel can touch you, man. And he can do that with the men of the Lord too. This is why psychological warfare is Satan's main weapon. And that's what he's doing, man. Psychological warfare. Esau's good at that. And best believe he's doing it. He's using it. He's trying to sift you. He's watching you. He's watching us. He's watching every single video. He's watching everything. I saw somebody online. He was chilling with his friends, drinking beers on I think somewhere in Philly, pulled out a gun, waved it at the camera. 15 minutes later, police pulled up and arrested him. How did they arrest him? How did they know? Because they watching his ass. Okay? They were watching him. This is GMS Understanding Israelite Application. This verse hits Israel in captivity. We can survive slavery, poverty, police violence, oppression, sickness, broken homes. But when our spirit is broken, when we believe we are nothing, that is when destruction comes. So you believe you're nothing, man. It'll come to naught. You'll come to naught. Deuteronomy 28, verse 65, the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart and failing of eyes and sorrow of mind. And that's what we're going through these curses, man. We're going through these curses. And the only thing we can do, we got to, first of all, you got to get used to suffering. You got to learn how to take it. You got to eat the bitter herb, man. Everyone's going to eat it. Everyone's going to eat it, man. Everyone's going to eat these bitter herbs. Esau's eating the bitter herb. Esau's out there protesting, getting shot in the face, getting tear gassed, somebody just got hit in the eye today by ice in Minnesota. His whole shit's wide. He might even lose his eye. He got shot right in his eye. So these curses, they coming up off of us and they going upon our enemies. The curses were not only physical, they were mental. Yeah, that's right. That's sorrow of mine. So we going through the curses right now. But then, you know what's at the beginning of Deuteronomy 28, 1 through 15. Those are the blessings. This is why the system attacks our identity, our men, our families, our confidence. Once the spirit is wounded, the body collapses, and Esau knows that. Okay, let me grab this. He's always trying to, that's why, just like in Egypt, you try to put more shit on you. You can't, everything's costing so much. Eventually it's gonna break, man. I forgot what precept I was just thinking about. Once the spirit is wounded, the body collapses. I was just thinking of a precept. I don't know. I can't think of it. Why Hamashiach is necessary. Luke 4:18. He have sent me to heal the brokenhearted. Yahushua came to repair Israel's wounded spirit, not just forgive sins. That's right. This is why we have this ministry. And the Lord, you know, he got brothers working, man. He got brothers working. So I know he got brothers working because I work. So the Lord, that just lets me know there's certain parts of the body might have to work a little harder than other parts of the body when another part is wounded. And we don't know where we're at in the body, but you know, you might be feeling something because of whatever's going on. So don't think the ministry isn't necessary to your walk. It is. Because a healed spirit can survive anything. So we need this word. Summary, strong spirit can endure sickness. I just went through that. Can survive poverty, can survive persecution, can wait for deliverance. And that's what we got to do. We got to wait. Zephaniah 3 and 8. Salakia. A wounded spirit collapses under pressure. And a lot of people are going to get wounded. I mean, Apostle Tahar just did a, what'd he say? Apostates and things like that. Those are people who collapsed under pressure. They got wounded spirits. It's not really because of the money and the cash. Their spirit's weak. They give up. They give up. They couldn't survive poverty, man. They got wounded. Turns to self-destruction. Now they teaching lies. They couldn't survive the persecution. Okay, now how much more when the MOTB comes their way? Do you think the strength just gonna come out of nowhere? You done taught all these people lies. It tells you in the book of Ecclesiasticus. I hate this book. Not this book, but this app. Ecclesiasticus. I hate this app too. Where's a good app? You know, let's just go here. Ecclesiastic. Actually, I can't get it here. I don't know why the blue letter don't step it up, man. Put the Apocrypha in there. Ecclesiasticus 14:1. Blessing the man that have not slipped with his mouth and is not pricked with the multitude of sins. You know, a lot of people are going to be pricked with the multitude of their sins, especially if you took filthy lucre in order to deceive your own people. And then you start seeing the prophecies being fulfilled right before your eyes, man. Man, that's going to kill your spirit, man. Some of these people, they're going to hang it up like Judas Iscariot. They're going to drop the money. Blessed is he whose conscience have not condemned him and who is not fallen from his hope in the Lord. That's right. You don't want to fall from your hope in the Lord. That's the most important thing, man. Is you fall from your hope in the Lord, you're done. And then loses hope. Can't wait for deliverance, you're going to lose your hope. Let me grab this in the book of, I thought it was Luke 18. He says, shall I find faith in the earth? Luke 18:7, and shall not God avenge his own elect, which cry day and night unto him, though he bear long with them? Let's look at this little word, bear. He bear long.
Strong's G 3114, Makrathumeo.
Makrathumeo, meaning to be of a long spirit, not to lose heart, to preserve patiently and bravely in enduring misfortunes and troubles, to be patient in bearing the offenses and injuries of others, to be mild and slow in avenging, to be long-suffering, slow to anger, slow to punish. So he bearing long, man. Long-spirited, forbearing, patient. Endure. You know, so he's the one who's putting all this pressure, all this affliction on you in the first place. I'm thinking of a precept, it's off the tip of my tongue. I think I lost it. But basically, I can barely think of it. Where the Lord says, pretty much you gotta endure it, man. I can't even think of the precept. But you pretty much just gotta endure. I think I'm thinking about Ecclesiasticus, the second chapter. Something Ecclesiasticus 2. Let me just go there. Probably 2 and 10. Look at the generations of old and see, did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded, or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken, or whom did he ever despise that called upon him? For the Lord is full of compassion and mercy, long-suffering and very pitiful, and forgiveth sins and saveth in time of affliction. So he's working. Luke 18 and 8. I tell you that he will avenge them speedily. Nevertheless, when the Son of Man cometh, shall he find faith on the earth? That's a question mark. That's red letter question mark. Shall he find faith on the earth? Because the only ones who are going to maintain that, and if you're losing faith, you should be afraid. You should be afraid, man. I would be having long discussions with the Lord. You know, just like Job. Job wasn't fooling around. The Lord can handle any conversation. You know, talk to him. Maybe he'll give you an answer. I literally just asked to be healed, and I be asking for. I don't mess around. When it comes to prayer, whatever I need, I'm throwing a prayer up. I don't care what it is. Even if I need something carnal too. All right. Well, what's this? NATO general asked straight up, how would Arctic security be enhanced if U.S. invades Greenland? And this is Mark Rutte. He didn't say nothing last night. I'm curious to see what he said.
You mentioned don't go it alone, don't create fractures where none are needed. We cannot avoid the question, the problem that has been created with President Trump's claims on Greenland. The Greenlandic government yesterday stated again they want their security to be determined by NATO, to be inside NATO. So this is going to be on your plate, even if you wish it weren't. And you said yesterday that it is not a crisis. So I would like to know what word you would use to describe what's happening now and how you can possibly explain that security inside the alliance is enhanced in any way by the U.S. claims that they need to own Greenland, not just maybe boost their presence, but actually own the island. Can you just unpack that for us? It's really what's on everybody's minds here.
Well, let me start by saying that it was Donald Trump, the American president, who already, when he was Trump 45, so his previous presidency between...
You know, I just want to stop there. Whenever these politicians lie, I've noticed that, especially like with Kamala Harris, they'll ask her a simple question, right? And she'll be like, when I was a little girl, she'll go all the way back to the past, you know? And then by the time she's finished talking, you don't know what the fuck then she doesn't answer your question.
2016 and 2020 was making us aware. Start by saying that it was Donald Trump, the American president, who already, when he was Trump 45, so his previous presidency between 2016 and 2020 was making us...
He went all the way to 2016 and 2020. Just answer the question. She asked you about Donald Trump saying he gonna go invade Greenland, and this is your answer? You're pathetic.
Aware collectively
Don't start grabbing your tie, niggas shook.
of the need to protect the high north in the Arctic. As you know, we have 8 high north countries in the Arctic. 1 is Russia, outside NATO, and 7 are inside NATO. That's Canada and the US, and then in Europe it is Denmark, through Greenland, and Iceland, Finland, Norway, and Sweden. These 7 countries are basically bordering on the Arctic, and it was President Trump in his first term, as I said, who basically alerted us to the fact that sea lanes are opening up, that Russia and China are more active, and that he...
So you needed Trump to tell you that somebody else was in your waters? You don't you have some technology to tell you? Didn't you already know that? Don't y'all have the same type of allies and enemies and shit? Like, what are we talking about?
We have to do more there together. We had a very good discussion in NATO. It was around summer. We are now taking next steps to build on that, because we all agree in NATO, we all agree that when it comes to the protection of the Arctic, we have to work together. And that's exactly what we are doing.
That's what he said yesterday.
Then, of course, I'm never commenting when there are discussions between allies. That's not up for me to comment on, but I can assure you that...
So if that's not for you to comment on, why are you wasting everybody? You just been speaking for a whole minute and a half. You should have just said that.
There is complete agreement that when it comes to the assessment of the urgency of the security situation, not only in the Baltic Sea, not only on the eastern flank, but also in the Arctic and in the southern neighborhood, obviously also. But now, concentrating on the Arctic, we all work together.
Okay, but
Like, why would you want to... Who put you in any type of position? But I understand you ain't going to tell everybody, listen, I'm going to burn them with fire, like it says in Revelation 17 and 16. You know what I mean? Why would you? Clearly the Lord ain't put that thought into your head, but it's going to happen. How it's going to happen, I don't know. We know in part, we prophesy in part. But as these things start to unfold, like they're doing right now, you're going to start to see that the Lord is true. Where is that? 1 Corinthians 13 and 9, for we know in part and we prophesy in part. But when that which is perfect is come, then that which is in part shall be done away. Whatever. We're going to see it to its perfection when the Lord makes it happen. But he already told us what he's going to do with NATO and the EU.
I really asked about
In Revelation 17.
Greenland specifically. Is there any single ally who would support the U.S. forcibly taking Greenland?
Again, what we are discussing here is to make sure that the Arctic is safe, that we have 7 countries working together, including the United States. So we came together in NATO, in the North Atlantic Council. As you know, we work together as a...
Look at the crowd, man. The crowd, there's some people in the crowd laughing at this dude, man. This dude right here, he like,
That
man,
the Arctic is safe, that we have 7 countries working together, including the United States. So we came together in NATO, in the North Atlantic Council. As you know, we work together as the ambassadors, and sometimes it is in the formation of foreign ministers or defense ministers, or the leaders when it is a summit. We call that the North Atlantic Council, a bit like you have the European Council in Europe.
Mark Rutte, I call all bullshit, okay? This is why you guys got to go, man. Because that's wicked, okay? Let me grab this precept. All this fucking talk. I'm tired of you damn Edomites. Let your yea be yea and your nay be nay. KJV. Matthew 5, verse 37. But let your communication be yea, yea, nay, nay, for whatsoever is more than these cometh of evil. So that's what he's showing you. Be careful. He's evil. He's lying. Deceit. Snake.
Europe and the North Atlantic Council came together at the level of the ambassadors at Europe and the North Atlantic ministers, or the leaders when it is a summit. We call that the North Atlantic Council, a bit like you have the European Council in Europe. And the North Atlantic Council came together at the level of the ambassadors and decided that we have to step up collectively. We all agree on this, and when it comes now to the next steps, we also all agree that we have to take those next steps, and we are working on that diligently at the moment.
And Denmark did this. I mean, over the last year, it spent $14 billion additional dollars, including on defense for Greenland specifically. It has enhanced its missile defense. It's got new Arctic vessels. It's really spent a lot of money and put a lot of time, perhaps acknowledging that it should have been done earlier. You know, this is something that allies can agree on, but. I still have to come back to the point. How would Arctic security be enhanced if the U.S. invaded Greenland?
But again, and therefore my role is to make sure that the alliance as a whole is doing what is necessary to keep the whole...
You know what? I wish he said, do you read your Bible at all? That would explain everything I need. It's so hard for them to tell the truth, so it's like, just give a hint. You're going to burn her, man. But maybe the thought, I don't know, maybe he didn't get the thought yet, I don't know.
All of the alliance safe. And you're totally right on Denmark. Denmark is investing in Boeing P-8s. Denmark is investing in long-range drones.
Planes for those non-NATO people?
Yeah, they are also investing in more F-35s. And they're investing in air-to-air refueling. And all these capabilities you need, not only to keep Denmark safe, to keep NATO as a whole safe, but also to make sure that when it comes to the Arctic region, and for them, of course, a special priority when it comes to Greenland, to stay as safe as possible. But again, I never comment when there are discussions between allies.
I'm doing my best.
So we agree. But I can tell you that when we talk about the security of the Arctic region, there is no disagreement within the alliance when it comes to that issue. And that is not only pertaining to the 7 who border on the Arctic, that's also true for other allies who are very much involved here. You have seen comments from the Brits and from the Germans who all want to help here to make sure that the Arctic region, that is US, Canada and Europe, stay safe.
Well, I was just going to follow up, if you wanted to make any announcement that there's going to be something like an Arctic Sentry mission, it would be a good place to do it. You know, you had Baltic Sentry, Eastern Sentry when the need was acute. I mean, do you expect Arctic Sentry or Greenland Sentry to be stood up?
What I expect over the coming weeks is discussions how we will take the next step, and the next step has to be about given the fact that we come to the same analysis, all NATO allies, and had a very good discussion on this around...
I'm sorry, man. This nigga ain't saying nothing. Let's see what Duck's talking about. This is from Associated Press. Trump to Iran citizens, take over your institution and help is on its way. Oh, shit, man. He's a funny dude. Help is on its way. Oh, let me grab this in Revelation 17 to 16 since we're talking about it. So this is what he's going to do, whether he like it or not. Maybe he don't know. But it's going to happen. Revelation 17, verse 16, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast. So the 10 horns and the beast represent NATO and the EU. These shall hate the whore, which is America, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. So that's the plan. All right. How they're coming about, talking about that, I don't know. But that's what the Lord's going to do. For God have put in their hearts, which is their minds, to fulfill his will, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast until the words of God shall be fulfilled. So they're going to play along to get along until that the Lord puts it in their minds to do what he wants them to do. As a matter of fact, let me get this first. It says Greenland will not be owned by the U.S. Prime Minister says, so he don't want to speak, but the Prime Minister is talking. Who's the Greenland Prime Minister Jens Frederik Nelson's comments came a day before a key meeting in Washington between foreign ministers of the semi-autonomous Danish territory and Denmark and top U.S. officials at a time of increased tensions between the allies over the stepped-up U.S. rhetoric. Let's see what he says.
Harbor Freight.
Nu står vi med en geopolitisk krise, og hvis vi skal vælge mellem USA og Danmark her og nu.
Choose between the United States. Oh, I gotta read this shit.
Nu står vi med en
Now we are faced with a geopolitical crisis, and if we have
geopolitisk krise, og hvis vi skal vælge mellem USA og Danmark her og nu.
Choose between the United States and Denmark here and now, and we choose Denmark. We choose NATO. We choose.
Så vælger vi Danmark. Vi vælger Nato. Vi vælger kongeriget Danmark.
Kingdom of Denmark. We choose the European Union. Matching up with Revelation 7. Greenland will not be governed by.
Skal alle forstå. Grønland vil ikke ejes af USA. Grønland vil ikke styres af USA.
The United States. Greenland will not be part of the United States. We choose the Greenland we know today, and which is part
Grønland vil ikke
of.
være en del af USA. Vi vælger det Grønland, vi kender i dag.
I mean, look at his facial expression, man. You think he's not fucking around, man. She's not even fucking around. They're taking that threat very seriously. You want to talk shit like that? Okay, we got. This is playing duck in the hole. We got. When I say playing duck in the hole, we gonna burn it with fire.
Som er en del af
It
kongeriget.
says the Kingdom of Denmark, so they choose the Kingdom of Denmark. And does he look scared? He looks happy. He's like, I wish a nigga would.
Danmark.
I morgen der mødes Grønland og Danmark.
Tomorrow, Greenland and Denmark will meet with the U.S. Will be
USA.
united.
Vi kommer sammen. Vi bliver sammen.
States, we come together, we stay together, and we are moving forward together. We want dialogue and we want cooperation.
Går sammen. Vi vil gerne dialogen, og vi vil gerne samarbejde. Vi søger ikke nogen konflikt. Men vores
We are not seeking any conflict, but our message is clear. Greenland is not for sale. We have made that clear from the start. So, you already know.
budskab er klart. Grønland er ikke
Mark Rutte can talk all that shit, but this is Greenland and Denmark talking to you.
til salg. Det har vi gjort klart fra starten. Ligesom vi fra begyndelsen af
Just as from the beginning of all this, we have told the Americans about Greenland that if this is about security, then there is much.
alt det her har sagt til amerikanerne, at hvis det handler om sikkerhed, så er der meget mere, vi kan, og
More that we can and must do together, and we will also repeat that at the meeting tomorrow. Yeah, but this ain't, when you're dealing with an Edomite, first of all, these niggas always fought with each other. Look at different types of Caesars. They'll put their presidents to death. Not their presidents, their Caesars to death. Stab them in the back. They're cutthroat like that. You know, they're just wild animals, just stabbing each other in the back. You can't trust it. You don't know who's who. You know, they're your friends for one battle, then they're stabbing you in the back on another battlefront.
skal gøre i fællesskab, og det vil vi også gentage på mødet i morgen.
You said the meeting tomorrow, so what's today? This is 4 hours ago, so okay, they're gonna be meeting tomorrow, supposedly.
Det har ikke været nemt
It has not been easy to stand up to completely unacceptable pressure from our closest ally for a generation, but at the same
at stå op imod et helt uacceptabelt pres fra vores nærmeste allierede igennem en menneskealder. Men meget
time, there are many indications that the most difficult part lies ahead of us. Woo! Yeah, man. You never thought, and you know, somebody start acting funny, you don't just ignore that shit. Somebody do some funny shit. Hey, I'm making sure I never forget that. You're supposed to, well, you just acting funny one day. No, you fool. That's his spirit showing you something about this dude, man. You got to try the spirit by the spirit, man. You got to see with whatever you should know a tree by its fruit.
tyder samtidig på, at det sværeste nu ligger foran os.
Looking.
I don't know, man. Europe look like they'll fuck you up, Duck. Let's see what Duck's talking about.
And by the way, to all Iranian patriots, keep protesting, take over your institutions if possible, and save the name of the killers and the abusers that are abusing you. You're being very badly abused. If the numbers are right, now I hear 5 different sets of numbers. I hear numbers, look, 1 death is too much. But I hear much lower numbers, and then I hear much higher numbers. But
you protesters, do you not know that I remember when during the George Floyd protests, protester got shot and killed by some little dumbass Edomite with an AK or a assault rifle. And then the duck was all for it. He don't give a fuck about y'all getting put to death. They're saying over 2,000 people died.
I say save their names because they'll pay a very big...
He gonna be doing that same shit over here. He gonna be putting you Americans to death too.
There are much lower numbers, and then I hear much higher numbers, but I say save their names because they'll pay a very big price. And I've canceled all meetings with the Iranian officials until the senseless killing of protesters stops. And all I say to them is help is on its way. You saw that I put tariffs on anybody doing business with Iran. Just went into effect today.
He wants to help Iran so badly. So bad. They need his help, out of all people. They need to set up that big-ass sausage-nosed motherfucker, bring him over there, and he gonna make it better again. He gonna make Iran great again.
And I say...
The Persians don't like you damn Greeks, man. They owe you an ass whooping, too. But I don't think Duck can take over. I mean, your kingdom's not as big as... The Persia used to run the world. Now look at it's the opposite, man. You know, now the Greeks are in power again. And now he think he can go in there and bully them whenever the hell they want. But it ain't gonna work like that, man. It's not gonna work like that. They're gonna put to death anyone in those crowds. They don't give a fuck. This is the East we're talking about. They don't give a fuck about all that shit.
Make Iran great again. You know, it was a great country until these monsters came in and took it over.
Oh, shit. And that's what he likes to do. He likes to call all these other nations monsters, but then when the so-called white man go kill somebody, oh, he was having a bad day. Oh, no, he wouldn't even take his beds. Oh, man. And that's how he's going to be doing when these protesters start getting put to death. In this country, that's what's going to happen. You already got one put to... I don't know if she was a protester, but they were saying it was different reports. Oh, what is this? I forgot what I was looking for. There's some type of protester he about to get hung or something. Like tomorrow. Let me see, is it in here? Yeah, inflation's coming. I forgot where I was looking at. Pretty much, somebody was gonna get hung or something. What is this?
Protests there are entering their third week, and tens of thousands of people continue to take to the streets despite a deadly crackdown. President Trump tonight said that the death toll appears significant. Western officials say at least 2,000 have been killed and perhaps many more. That would make these protests the deadliest since the 1979 revolution, and analysts say they could threaten the regime itself. Nick Schifrin reports.
Today in Iran, defiance. Protesters denounced the regime right in front of its security forces. Despite live ammunition shot into the crowds, a brutal crackdown that Western officials say has been led not by police, but by the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Estimates vary widely, but Western officials said today at least 2,000 have been killed, perhaps many times that. This crackdown, combined with an internet cutoff, has led to slightly fewer protests today and a climate of extreme fear, according to a man in southern Iran we spoke to today by phone, whose name we are changing to Merhadad.
The protests are not as big as they were last week, and from what I've heard from those in other towns, the protests are not as big since the crackdown. I was going, but not since Saturday, because it was impossible to get to the streets.
Experts call these the most serious protests in Iran's history, combining rural and urban, working and middle-class Iranians, and the ruthless response has in turn affected every Iranian.
Anyone you ask, they have
that same shit. He's busting a shotgun in the middle of the street, man. I wonder if that's like a civilian. That's crazy, man. Shit gonna go down out here, man.
family members, one or multiple, injured or killed. In the past few days of the protests, their forces have been stronger, and anyone they see on the streets, they either shoot or do something else to make them go away.
All Iranian patriots keep
Iranian patriots
protesting. Take over your institutions if possible.
Today in Detroit, President Trump vowed to avenge the dead by punishing the security forces who fired into the crowds.
Save their names because they'll pay a very big price. Then I've canceled all meetings with the Iranian officials until the senseless killing of protesters stops. And all I say to them is help is on its way.
He didn't define that help, but speaking to CBS News tonight, President Trump brought up previous U.S. military strikes.
What's the end game?
The end game is to win. I like winning.
How do you define that in Iran?
Well, let's define it in Venezuela. Let's define it with al-Baghdadi. He was wiped out. Let's define it with Soleimani.
Al-Baghdadi, ISIS leader. Nah, al-Baghdadi ain't got nothing on Iran. He caused a lot of damage out there, but he ain't got nothing on Iran. Venezuela, Maduro. I don't know if your sonic boom weapon gonna work over there in Iran, man. It might work. I don't know. It might work, man. That sonic weapon said it makes your brain feel like it's about to explode. Your nose starts bleeding. Shit. I don't even know. How far away do you have to be? Like, how do you use that thing? Who knows, man? Iran might have some shit, too. They must have heard the same news I'm hearing, what he did in Venezuela. And they saying they ready. Let's go. Maybe they got one, too.
The U.S. is also working to help ensure...
Define it in Venezuela. Let's define it with al-Baghdadi. He was wiped out. Let's define it with Soleimani.
Soleimani. Oh, shit. Their general. Oh, shit. I forgot about that. He bombed their general, man. Let's define it with Soleimani. That's personal right there, man.
The U.S. is also working to help ensure activists can share these videos with the world by working with Starlink.
As of this morning, there are reports.
Just meddling in everybody's shit, man.
Confirmed reports that the Starlink subscription is lifted, so it's plug and connect.
Ahmad Ahmadian is the executive director of the internet freedom organization Holistic Resilience. He says there are as many as 50,000 Starlinks in Iran. And eliminating subscription costs will help activists not only release videos, but also communicate with each other.
People need to get those information from their leaders, from coordinators outside of Iran to be able...
Musk got a lot of power if you can give a whole country internet when they country shut their internet off. That's crazy.
To protect themselves and also have the instructions how to coordinate, how to mobilize, saying like, where are the areas that the protest is happening, and getting those information and working with those channels and reporters to broadcast those information.
Like, I wouldn't even want to rule in some time like this, man. Imagine being a ruler in one of these right now. Without the Lord, man. This is chaos. All he needs to do is send in a few people, kill a couple people, and blame it on you. Cause all types of chaos. I'll pay this dude and this dude. And how can you combat that? It's impossible. There's always somebody in your country that's gonna rise up again. There's always somebody that doesn't like you somewhere in the country. It's just how it is. Not everyone's gonna agree with everybody. You pay that fool and he'll do anything. Then you get some people that are actually shooting in the crowd. Like, that's just insane.
And back inside the country, so they know what to do and what to do next.
But what the regime is doing next, planning a public execution of
This guy, this is who I was looking for.
protester Irfan Sultani. They've already broadcast about 100 coerced confessions. An attempt to destroy the dissent that targets the regime and its sources of power. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Nick.
Attempted to destroy. Let me get that again.
An attempt to destroy the dissent that targets.
What the hell is the dissent that targets the regime and its sources of power? I gotta look up this word dissent. What the hell is that? Attempted to destroy the dissent. I don't know these words. Define dissent. The holding or expression of opinions at variance with those commonly or officially held. Hold or express opinions that are at variance. I guess it means some form of ideology, I guess. Attempting to destroy the dissent that targets the regime and its sources of power.
Targets the regime and its sources of power. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Nick Schifrin.
The U.S. first imposed sanctions on Iran in 1979 after students seized the U.S. embassy in Tehran.
Wait just a second, we have one more thing to share.
We want to say a heartfelt thank you for...
Shut up. Who gives a fuck about your thank you? Full of shit, man. You know, but this dude's in everybody's business. I don't know what he's gonna do over there, but if it gets popping over there, you know, you got the Gulf of Hormuz. You know, you can just imagine. But it says that we only, let me ask chat. If America goes to war with Iran, how does that affect us economically? They got news. China's heavy reliance on Iranian oil imports, higher energy and gas prices. Okay, so you can already see he's fighting with the Fed chair. He already got inflation. But honestly, he's probably doing this to blame it on all this bullshit, but it ain't that. It ain't that, man. It's this war over here. It's this, it's that. One of the most immediate effects of a U.S.-Iran war would likely be higher oil and gas prices. Iran sits on major oil infrastructure and controls access to the Strait of Hormuz, through which about 20% of the world's oil supply flows. Disruptions here could sharply boost oil prices. 20% of a fifth of the world's oil supply flows through the Gulf of Hormuz. So that's 20% that ain't coming over here. Even the threat of disruption makes markets price in risk, pushing crude prices up. So that means if crude prices go up, everything goes up. Higher oil prices can translate into higher gas prices at the pump, higher heating costs, and more expensive goods overall, because energy is a basic input for transportation and manufacturing. So when you hear about this war, you gotta get prepared mentally, man. Gas prices, man. It might be cold, man. He might kick it off in the summer, so y'all won't be complaining about the heat. Effects on everyday Americans. Gas prices rise. Costs for products in freight go up. What do you mean in freight? What does this mean? I'm thinking for cargo or something. Freight refers to goods or cargo transported in bulk by truck, train, ship, or plane encompassing the entire process of moving commercial products involving modes like LTL, less than truckload, or FTL, full truckload, and utilizing logistics for handling, tracking, and storage essential for the global economy. And you see why he got all these damn robots. Because he knows he already has it in his mind he about to attack these motherfuckers, man. Probably go try to take their shit, but it ain't gonna work. Your sonic weapons ain't gonna work because I know the Lord got something over there that you ain't really thinking about. Like them hypersonic missiles. They got those things, man. Putin he's being criticized for using them in Ukraine. So you're not really hearing how they're gonna escalate, but when they escalate, it's a wrap. They're gonna try to listen, man. Let's come up with a plan. Let's sit down and talk. Nah. You didn't sit down and talk when you went into Venezuela. You didn't sit down and talk when you went into Iran. And while he's talking with him, he's probably gonna be bombing some of his bases, escalating the situation. Let me grab this in the book of Revelation, the 6th chapter, going into this inflation and all of that. Revelation 6 in verse 5, and when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. So that word balance is going to Zygos, and when you look into it, it goes into slavery. But not the type of slavery like transatlantic slavery. This slavery is going to come in the form of inflation. Because with everything costing more, you're going to have to work way more harder to maintain that insignificant life that you've created for yourself. Revelation 6:6, and I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, which is a denarian when you look into it, which is a day's pay. A measure of wheat for a penny. And 3 measures of barley for a penny. And see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. So the oil and the wine is preserved. Okay. That's why we have this truth. But eventually you're going to have a famine of the word too. You know, the famine of the word sneaks up on you know, you hear anti-Semitism and things like that. All that shit's going to increase. You know, especially when the MOTB gets mandated, they're going to start saying, you can't say that. You can't say it's the MOTB. They're already trying to pass laws in Canada about banning scripture. So that's them attacking your First Amendment, your freedom of speech. So this scripture's pretty much going into inflation. All right. So you're gonna spend a whole day's pay. If a loaf of bread costs a whole day's pay, how are you going to pay anything else? How are you gonna pay for gas? How are you gonna pay for anything? You're gonna be more concerned about how can I get food and water. Simple, basic things, man. So a lot of the things we're worried about today, oh, I can't pay this bill, oh, I can't, my car tire, oh, my phone bill, or whatever. None of that shit matters, man. All that shit's gonna be taken away. So it's kind of a good thing, especially if you've been training yourself to know that more afflictions are gonna come and not to be wounded or try to heal yourself when these things that are happening now, this shit don't matter. All right, let me grab this. Green tree. I think it's in Matthew. No, Luke. Luke 23:31. For if they do these things in a green tree, what shall be done in the dry? Right. Let's look this up. Luke 23:31. This is Yahushua speaking while being led to be crucified. Here is a GMS style breakdown with precepts and key meaning. Green tree in scripture. Green tree represents someone righteous, someone alive in the spirit, someone favored by the Most High. Yahushua is the green tree, innocent, righteous, and approved by the Father. Dry tree. A dry tree represents the wicked, spiritually dead, those under judgment. The dry tree is rebellious Israel in the wicked world. He was saying, if Rome is allowed to torture and murder the only righteous man on earth, what do you think they will do to a sinful, rebellious nation? That's right. You know, if they get... So pretty much what this is saying is, let me qualify while I'm bringing it out. Everything's good right now, supposedly. You still got... Stores are still open. You still got your job. But people are getting shot in the face. You know, people are getting, you know, that's a green tree, but it's withering away to a point that's going to be dry. The system is failing. So if these things are happening while the tree is green, imagine what's going to happen when it's a dry tree, when there's nothing there. It's going to be way worse. So if you already wounded now, man, it's going to get way worse, man. This was a prophecy of 70 AD, the Roman destruction of Jerusalem, and the same thing gonna happen again. Over 1 million Israelites were killed and many were taken into slavery. And it's the same thing. It says Jerusalem will be surrounded, starved, burned, and slaughtered. You know, and that's talking about 70 AD. Yahushua was warning the women crying for him. Don't cry for me, cry for yourselves. Because he was innocent. Israel was rebellious. So if Rome could do this to him, what would they do to a guilty nation? That's right. What are they going to do to you? You know? And you got to think, you know, you're going through this now. What do you think is going to happen later? The dry tree is modern Israel in captivity, spiritually dead, disconnected from Yahweh, under curses, Deuteronomy 28. The worse the wicked world treats the righteous now, the more violent the coming judgment will be. 1 Peter 4:17, judgment must begin at the house of God. That's right, with the believers. Summary, if they are allowed to kill the green tree, then the dry tree, rebellious Israel, and the wicked will face far worse destruction. It is warning of mass judgment, not just a metaphor. Yay and nay. I mean, that's probably, I don't know. I was just using it to show you that and a green tree is just a somewhat functioning society, and you see what's going on now. People are robbing, stealing. It's still bad. Even though we got running water, you can get a job, you can eat, you have access to food. People are still getting robbed, still getting put to death. So when all that shit gets cut off, man, it's gonna be bad. You're gonna need the Lord, man. You're gonna need the Lord. And you're gonna have to have a certain type of spirit too. No weak ass, soft ass spirit, man. That shit'll get your ass killed. If no one ever told you that. You'll die for being weak. 2 Ezra 6, verse 22. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. So there's going to be a time where the stores are going to be closed. There's going to be nothing in there. So we got to be prepared in our minds for this day. Isaiah 33. Damn, I had 32. In verse 6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. And I'm ending.